All right. Video should be on. Hello, hello. My name is Grog, and today we're gonna be looking at my art in for 2024. And let me open the sketchbook. Now I haven't uploaded in a while. My last upload was 3 weeks ago. And that was the art time lapse, and since then your boy got hired. What can I say? What can I say? But besides that, usual life stuff. So I haven't been able to make a dedicated video. The last video I was gonna make was gonna be on a new art software that I just fell in love with over the course of a couple, let's say 6 months, and that would be Rebel 7. So expecting a review of that sometime. I don't know when I decide to make it to the video. But anyway, this is gonna be most, if not I think all the art I did in 2024, with some 2025 art and maybe a tiny bit of 2023 art. This is gonna be a 2-part. Right now we're doing part 1 because we have 177 files in this folder, and I don't want to be doing all that in one go. So we're gonna do half digital and half traditional, since I think you can barely see it, but half of these are traditional and the other half are digital, which is just a little funny little accent, But let's get started. And for the first part, we're gonna be doing traditional. Usually I see videos and they have like the sketchbook, but I don't have a really good camera and I don't want to be using my phone, and also I'm crowded. I'm recording in the living room, so we're just gonna be using the good old-fashioned what is this called? I don't know. File Explorer, I guess. But we're gonna go as far as I can, and if I think there's some more traditional at the bottom, so we'll look at that. But this is the first piece. This is like the first piece we're gonna look at, and this was when I just got a brush, and you can see it right there on the left. I actually have that's not the brush I should have been using. I have like a ton of brushes and I don't use them as much as I should, especially since I've been doing digital for so long, so I don't really touch them that often. But what we got is that's a Princeton brush. I think it's number 3 or number 2, and that's not my main brush I use. What I usually use is a Winsor Newton Cotman series. It's like a round 2 that I use. I remember watching a video and a lot of people said that a round 2 is like a good starter, and then a round 3 is when you start going more advanced, because then you can hold more ink, but you have to be a little bit more delicate. And after that I started using a Pentel, I think it's called a Fude brush. I think you've all seen that brush. What's his name, Kim Jong-ji? Yeah, Kim Jong-ji, that's him. Okay, I checked my phone real quick, but it's called so this was on the brush, the handheld brush, and this one was just, a warm-up. This one was the same thing. I believe this might have been the actual Pentel brush. I don't remember exactly. Oh, you know what? I should explain. So these were just very basic gestures and maybe some funny faces you can see. Like I kind of just do whatever whenever I'm on the brush and I don't have anything under it. I just draw what I see, and sometimes it turns out okay. Other times it looks pretty nasty, like like that skull and that face right there. It's pretty funny. But let's move on to the other. I shouldn't be spending too much time on these if I want to get this video under like 30 minutes. This is a good one. I really like this one. With these ones I did draw a pre-sketch beforehand. We got a couple funny ones. What is it? We got the skeleton. I've been working on this one shot, and so skeletons have been like a big thing I needed to adapt in my practice and my sketches. So I've been drawing skeletons a lot, but I kind of forgot that the guy's a whole skeleton, so I really should have been focusing on limbs and ribs and hands and all that. But you live and you learn. That one to the right, I forgot her name, but that's from a manga I've been reading. It's about this one office lady, and like I think the whole point of the plot is something about the guy being into her. He's a newbie, but something that's funny that he like says during like the manga is like, oh yeah, I love big breasts, and it's just hilarious. It's more of a slice of life, so if you're not into that, I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's a slice of life and romance, so it's pretty funny. And then you can see at the bottom right, I just got a little bit of squiggles just to get a feeling for the brush. Some faces, a goofy little goblin, and my favorite is that little guy right there with the tiny head and big muscles. That's pretty funny. It's comical to me. And this is like one of my favorites right here. So it's kind of funny. I kind of noticed that my art, like my details, kind of change the more as I draw. Like sometimes I'll add more, sometimes I'll add less. Oh, great. Like I was saying, I had to cut that off because the dog was barking. But like I said, I noticed that my details, I kind of switch every once in a while. I don't know if that's me and my consistency, or if it's like a regular art thing. I feel like an artist thing. It's just sometimes we just lose the details on certain pieces, and other times we add more detail. It's kind of a curse, but this is one of my favorite pieces right here. It's a traditional sketch. It's not of guts. I wouldn't say this is a sketch, actually a full finished piece. And there was like 3 more pictures where it went from the beginning to like the middle, and like it just added more details as I go. And the initial sketch looked pretty rough. It was like very like blocky. So I'm surprised how I made this. And you can see to the left right there, I got a projector off eBay. It was like $70. It worked for the time, but it had this weird glitch where it kept on green screening, so I'd be tracing this picture and every once in a while I'd get green, like a splash green. It was really annoying, especially at night when I was trying to trace, so I ended up chucking it, and now I don't have it. I have a giant light board now. It's like a size B4 or something, and it's a little bit too big, so I probably might have to buy another light board, a smaller one, or once I get out of this current living situation, I'll probably just have a dedicated area for that light board. But yeah, here, let me zoom in a bit. But it's less detail in this, but you can see I kind of went a little crazy with the hair. You can see I did like every strand. I really shouldn't have. That's kind of too extra. And you can see I fixed that on this one where I get rid of most of that detail because it's just unnecessary. Well, at least to me it was. I do still like it, but I think it looks more like scales. I'm gonna look at it now, but I do like how I drew the armor. I like how I shaded it, the rendering, and it is probably like one of my favorite pieces. There's one more piece in this collage of drawings that I think is like one of my favorite, and that's a digital piece. All these are done on a Canson, or like as you can see, I got a Staedtler and some mono eraser, and the angles, I kind of change up the angles, so you usually see my little feet right there. But let's keep going. These are some fold studies. I used the Morpho book, and I added a bit of extraness to it. Some of these faces, they're part of the Morpho book, but like one like this at the bottom. I'm noticing right now when I talk, I'm saying like so much. You can tell I'm a Californian, but anyway. Here you can see that I added a bit more extra to the piece. I added a bit more of an expression. I added a different hair type, because a lot of the Morpho books, he doesn't really show pupils. It's very much just an eye, a very simple face, but no pupils. And I just decided to add that. And these are actually, the Morpho book's really helpful. He goes into depth on how there's certain pressure points on the clothes, and the pressure point usually changes on how thick clothes are or how airy they can be, like a coat. The coat has it's a bit more heavy, so when you get folds, they're a bit more noticeable. They're less noticeable, I mean, compared to something like a shirt where it's a lot more airy, so you can get a lot more folds compared to a coat, if that makes sense. This is just a random sketch, I believe. Whenever I'm not using references, well, actually, before I went ahead and bought a bunch of references from Graphic Studio, I was mostly a Pinterest main, I'm pretty sure everybody was during that era, during like early 2024, before it got overtaken by AI. But I would just go and just grab a bunch of sketches, or not sketches, pictures, and just draw them and just get a good idea of them. I don't do that now because Pinterest has just gone so downhill. Sometimes I will, like very rarely, if I do fan art, I'll look up for a picture on Pinterest. But if not, I'll go on Amazon and look at a random like action figure, like a Nami pick that I did, which we'll probably get into sometime during this recording. We'll take a look at that. I used a random pose from One was from my graphic studio purchase. Like I said, I got like 1,000 pictures, more than 1,000 probably. Great site. I have some peeves with the poses and how some of them can be repetitive just in different angles, but I understand how that can be helpful for an artist. I just kind of get annoyed because I'd like a little bit more diversity. But other than that, you know, this was just a very simple one. I do like how I did the leg on this one, but I do think the muscles look a little weird. This is from a book, so I'll probably make a video on like all the sources that I've been using, but I use a lot of books, a lot of YouTube videos, and I just recently bought a course by Marco Bucci, and I think I'm saying his last name right. But he was a big help in my coloring, along with Color with Curry. He's really good. I actually watched his whole coloring comics video. That was a really good one. I had to watch it several times, but it helped me a lot. But this is a how to draw animals book. I started it and I still am in the first beginning pages. I do that with a lot of the books I have, and then I switch between them, so it takes me longer to finish them because I'm just going through different books, and I'm just getting piece by piece instead of just dedicating all my time to one. But I feel like it's a little better to do that, because if I dedicate like a week to one book, like each week I try a different book, it prevents the burnout, which it's kind of repetitive. I gotta stop. I gotta learn to deal with this burnout. Here we have the same we have more morpho studies, but then me trying some watercolor. I've been wanting to get into watercolors for a while now, and we got a picture here of like some watercolors, and I kind of get into it, but this was with like some Koi Sakura watercolors. I don't like them. They were just pretty not nice to use. I don't know, there's something about them, and I wanted to get some Winsor & Newton ones because of the old pair I had. I just felt like they were old. Although I'm pretty sure they were probably fine. Something in my head told me that they weren't right, and I just threw them away, which is the dumbest decision I think I made. But yeah. And then we got some fan art of one of my favorite games from FromSoft, Dark Souls 3. Oh, hold up. This is one of the more I like. This is a little bit of a fan art piece. My bad. This is a fan art piece of Dark Souls. I don't remember exactly who this is. I think I just saw. Oh, it was from Dark Souls 1. I think I can put up an image of it, but it's like the Dark Souls 1 Elite Knight skin, and or the fit. But yeah, FromSoft, I really enjoy it, and I've been getting really into it. I've already played all the Dark Souls series. I finished Elden Ring. I'm on Bloodborne and Demon Souls soon, so yeah, you know, it's a fun series. Kill me, you know. It probably sounds generic now because like ever since Elden Ring came out, it feels like everybody's into the FromSoft series now. It feels like Dark Souls was more of like a, what can I say? Like, it wasn't as popular. If I'm so bold to say that, if he doesn't feel like it was as popular until Elden Ring came out. But yeah, let's keep going. Oh, this was just. Oh, I think this has. Oh, it's not here. We'll have to. Let's see if I can find it. There's an inked version of this. If I can pull it up. Let me look for it. Whatever, we'll find it. We'll find it as we go. But another random pose I found on Pinterest, and I tried inking this one. We'll find that one later. And when I inked this one, I remember asking for some critique on it. And the one thing that I will say that I'm not that good at with the brush is getting a different line weight. I keep it very consistent, and I think that's a fear of me messing up. So I keep it at a very consistent line weight, so it just looks kind of bland. And so I did two. Well, I didn't need to do two. I did do two passes, but it was on the same ink because all I had to do was add another layer of ink, and then it made it pop a bit more. But I did end up liking this one. Some like office lady without her no suit, just a button-up shirt, a little bit of a loose button-up shirt near the top. It wasn't that bad. And let's go ahead. And this one was more just me getting some random gestures out. I wasn't really thinking too much about it. I hope you don't hear that plane going, not plane, I'm dumb, the helicopter going by, but this was just me being very loose with these sketches. These are just some gestures. You can kind of see me where I kind of lost the sauce around the left one, like it was just kind of gone. But the middle one, you can read it, the right one. A lot of these I try focusing on the line of action, so you can see from the head to the torso. It's kind of, they're mostly curves. I believe there's more than just one line of action, but I always just go for the one line at times. Oh, this is when I started getting into the graphic studio stuff. There was a couple poses that I have. I think it's called the Army Collection or something like that. And this was one of the poses, and I really liked it. I think this was originally, I don't know if this was a chick or not actually, now that I think about it, but yeah, I added a bit of the detail, and then I tried adding as much as I could. You can see I don't really focus too much on the guns because I don't draw them that often, but I try to get my folds in there, my pants. Background, it's just a background. Ooh, another great piece. Now this one, don't worry, we're gonna get into some pieces that I hate as well. I feel like I'm just glazing my art when not. I'm just trying to like give as much as an explanation as I can, but this is just, I wish I had something to like draw over these, but you can see I tried doing something and then I just kind of thought no. But a lot of the times I'll do stuff like this where I'll do some gesture pose or a really nice dynamic pose that I'm really satisfied with, but then after that I don't know what to add to it. So because I feel like I'll ruin it, I don't touch it. So this is like one of those of the many drawings I have where it could have been much more, but right now it's just this. It's kind of like it's not a completely blank, but it's like half finished of a canvas. And like looking at it again, you know, there's some problems I can see like with the proportions, but overall I'm still very happy about this one. I do like how it looks. We got here some fan art. This was so you can see little waves. You can see I took a picture with my phone. I believe this was on my other tablet. I have like 3 tablets for digital art, not an iPad or stuff like that. No, like I have a Surface Pro that I used for college when I was still going. I just recently got a Samsung tablet for reading manga. But what's it called? This was just a Kobeni fan art with a swimsuit. I think I found it online, but you know, this one was okay. I actually really like this one. There was another one I did, which I hated, but this one I really like. I'll probably go back to this one day. Another one with the Graphic Studio pose. Again, like I said, I have a ton of Graphic Studio poses because I bought a lot of them. I've been buying more and more as I get money, because I feel like, you know, like I said, I think Pinterest is slowly dead to me, so I just don't want to be part of Pinterest anymore. I don't want to consume their media if all of it's just AI. I think I've mentioned it to a couple of people that I talked to, some friends, that a lot of the times when I've been on Pinterest, I've been getting straight up a not safe for work. The last not safe for work I got was a furry with like ginormous tits, and I was just not having it. I just was getting so annoyed because that's not what I want. Because again, I'm in the living room. I can't be even if I want to draw not safe for work, which we do have some here, but when I draw it, it's like late at night. Like we're talking like maybe 1 a.m. or midnight. Yeah, let's keep going. Oh yeah, so I also didn't say much, but yeah, you know, another classic piece. I'm gonna start like being less descriptive, I think. Again, this is like fresh vid coming back here, and we're already at the 20-minute mark, and we have a lot to go through, so I'm gonna stop talking too much about these. What's it called? Here we go. We got some more of these, more poses with close and folds. This is a really good one too, because I just made my own designs again for these guys. The one on the right, I probably like that more than one on the left, but these are really fun still. Oh god, hold up, we'll come back to that one. This is a Baki piece. I really enjoyed this one because Baki's probably one of my favorite manga. It's I've reread it I think like 3 times now, and I just really like the art. I will admit though that although the art is very nice, it's also still pretty ugly at times. But I have a lot of Baki fan art, I think, but I threw away a lot of my sketchbooks. What I do is I'll find sketchbooks that when I finish my sketchbooks, what I'll do is I'll rip out the pages that I like, and then I throw away the rest, because a lot of it is just, you know, just practice. It's not really anything crazy. And then when I do stuff like this, where it's fan art and I like the fan art, I keep it. Let's go back to this one now. Again, another fan art. This was Noi from Dorohedoro. This one I'm kind of on the fence about. I kind of like it, I kind of don't like it. It's just, I think it's the proportions. This is when I was more so getting the idea of drawing females, because I think you might not notice it, but you'll notice it later on as I continue this. You'll see that a lot of my drawings are more males than females. But let's keep going. More work with the brush work. Another good one. What is this? she's not a shark girl, but her teeth like always make me think of a shark. This is another good manga. And then the classic Hollow Knight, smoking a booth. Obviously, you know, we're gamers here. We enjoy ourselves a good game or two. So we got, and I love indie games too. So, you know, I don't play as much AAA games because they're just too expensive now. I'm not going to pay $70 for a half-assed, you know, game. So I've been into indie more often lately. So, you know, some Hollow Knight. This was for a one-shot that me and my friend were previously going to work on, but the guy's always busy and it takes forever to write a script with him specifically. So this is as far as we got. I won't explain the premise, but one day if you guys want me to make a video on that, I'll talk about one-shots that I'm thinking of making, or ones that failed because of either me not getting my lazy ass up and drawing it, or just my ideals, I guess, changing. But more of this work from the How to Draw Animals book, and then we can see the fundamentals about how there's different limbs compared to human limbs. We got a drawing of a, what is that, a cougar or panther. It's a lot better than the one on the left. You can see I was practicing a lot more with that one, and then I had more of a, I focused a lot more on the anatomy on the right one. I like that one a lot. There's also a bit of foreshortening, I believe, going on that one, but I don't know for sure. Here, hold on, let me take a sip of water. Oh, okay, KO, Enid. I really like that show. Cartoon Network fumbled when they decided that they wanted to cancel it, but it had a decent ending. But yeah, this is more a watercolor practice. Oh, here we go. So this is when I got some new watercolors. I had some extra funds laying around, and I bought myself a cheap pair of watercolors. I bought myself some ShinHan, I think they're called professional watercolors, but they're not exactly professional. From what I read, you're supposed to get the PVC version, not professional, because professional from them just means student grade, and if you want the actual good stuff, you get like PVC or something. Oh, hold up, someone's coming in now, so I'll be back. So this one, like I was saying, this one was watercolor with some ShinHans I bought, but but you know, I had some other watercolors in the past, and I have a whole plethora. No, I don't know if that's the right word, but I have a whole bunch of colors I use. What is it? Some colored pencils, a couple inks. I got some Bristol board and a bunch of nibs, a bunch of G pen nibs, and I got a whole thing. So I'll probably like show you guys that some other time. But let's move on. So let's see. It should be moving a lot faster now that we're going to the. This is like the brushwork stuff that I was talking about earlier in the video, but let's see. Another watercolor. Oh, guess here, let's grab the right one. Hold up. Alright, so this is Mao Mao from the Apothecary Diaries. Another anime that I've been into lately, and then I also have the watercolor version here. I did watercolor this one. This one was really good. Like, I was surprised how I was able to get a pretty good amount of blending with the blush around her like cheeks, and some hard lines for the cell shading. But yeah, you can see that. Hold up, there you go. And then let's see. Alright, so now we're getting into the brushwork. This is when I was using the Pentel Fude brush. Like, this is all just sketches from stuff, again, like Pinterest. This was still 2024, so a lot of this was done pretty quickly on a tiny sketch, but you can see that thing's like, I have it next to me, it's like 8 by 5 inches or something like that. But anyway, a lot of these are just me, oh well, I guess I used the Pentel Fude brush and a watercolor brush that I got with the Sakura Koi set. Again, I didn't like the set, but I thought this brush was okay. But it kind of leaked everywhere the last time I tried using it, so yeah. Sorry about my cough. More brushwork, just trying out, you know, looking at pictures on Pinterest and copying them. All of these were done without doing an initial sketch, just straight up inking. This one was pretty fun. This one was a good one. I really liked this one. I think this one was from the Alita Battle Angel series. I just saw it on Pinterest and I tried doing that. This one, this one was just random. I think I was drawing a hand and then I didn't know what to do after, so I just started drawing like the face and all that. So that's what I've just been doing. But that's what I'll do sometimes with it. I won't even think of to look up something on Pinterest. I'll just think of something and start sketching it, and it usually ends up pretty. It's either like this or it's just a mess. So it's interesting though, you know. You kind of like get your visual library going, get those wheels in your head spinning, and see like if all the stuff you practice is actually useful or not. Again, more of this, just a lot of brushwork, you know. The skulls I mentioned earlier. This is actually the flaming one. That's like an idea I have around the rising action for this. But let's keep going. Some more of these. You know, it's funny. Oh, this is again from the one shot that I was telling you about that I won't be continuing. This is a little short. Let's see if it. Yeah. So this is a gag me and my friend were thinking of where he's sleeping and the MC is like having a dream about women and he's like really into breasts, so he's having a dream of it, and then during that part somebody wakes him up and he thinks it's the chick talk to him, but no, it's actually the skeleton guy, and he's supposed to be hyper realistic. Obviously I still wasn't good at drawing the skull, so it doesn't look like that, but I think it gets the message across. It'd be a good rough draft. This is a sketch on, wait, hold up, I'll be back. So this was a more fan art. I make more fan art than I realize, but I don't like publishing it that often, just because sometimes I feel like with the fan art, if you post it too often, it just you become that guy who is only the fan art guy, and I don't want to be that type of artist. I just want to draw what I like. I don't want to have to deal with like the Instagram algorithm, because I see a lot of artists who are like that, you know. This one guy, I forgot his name, but he mostly is known for drawing Pokemon art, and in a podcast they mentioned that, oh yeah man, you draw a lot of Pokemon art and people really like that. Yeah, but you drew this one original piece and not a lot of people cared. And he's like, yeah, you know, that's kind of like the deal you make when you start doing the fan art. And I was just thinking, well, that sucks. I don't want to be the guy who has to draw fan art constantly just to keep myself, you know, up. I'd rather just let people come based on like my art, and like if they like what I make and they enjoy my original characters, I think that's more fun than just constantly having to basically do fan art of the stuff that I eventually like won't completely lose interest in, but I'll just start losing interest in it more and more as I do it, because I'm forcing myself to do it to stay relevant, if that makes sense. I also inked this one. I'm not very happy with the ink. I used a G pen, and the problem with the G pen is you can't really get straight lines without a ruler sometimes if you want to do things like background. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of professionals who can, but I'm pretty sure most of those guys would also prefer using a micron to get the background, because it's just more efficient. It's not like the G pen can handle being on a ruler when it'll just smear your work. I think there was a smear somewhere here, but I had some Posca pens, so I was able to blur out a lot of my mistakes, but you can kind of see it around there. And then we got this one. I made my own sketchbook. I made I had a big, what's the name of it, Strathmore sketchbook. It was like one of those, I think it was 32 inches or something, but it was a very large sheet of paper, and I had a bunch of them. I had like a 25 sheet or like a 30 sheet, and I didn't want them to go to waste because I wasn't really using it because it was too big. Surprisingly, like you'd think more space would give me more inspiration, but I just wasn't feeling that. So instead, I cut it up and I stitched my own sketchbook, and I have it on me. It was pretty fun, but this was the first page where I just practiced some expressions. Watercolor. This was just a random piece I wanted to watercolor. It kind of ended up looking like the Ariel from the Disney remake. The one, you know which one I'm talking about. I haven't watched Little Mermaid or any of that, but I did think it kind of looked like because of the orange hair and the purple bikini. So this is a line drawing from the How to Draw Scott Robertson book, and the book is the first couple chapters are just warm-up drawings like this, and it's just him trying to get you used to using a pen, because one of the things he mentions in his book is that you should really just use a pen while using this book, so you don't constantly erase. You don't want that. You want to just deal with it and kind of force yourself to learn instead of constantly, it's like hitting Control Z constantly on your digital art. You don't want to do that. So instead, he recommends just dedicating, you know, the mistakes and let it be a happy accident, you know. We got a couple of these. You can see a lot of these are different exercises. Some of you might be familiar with it if you've read his book. This one, I really like this one. I remember this one from the Perspective Made Easy book. I did something similar in these, so a lot of the stuff that I learned, this one was also a fun one. A lot of the stuff that I learned in this book was a lot of stuff from my past book. I mean, from the Perspective Made Easy, a lot of that transferred to the early pages of this book, and it was pretty good. Let's see, this one, you can see in some pages I use a pencil, but I just don't erase instead because of the pen not being available. This is the brush pen. Oh, and then we got another Pinterest drawing. I tried focusing more on the shading. I'm not entirely satisfied with the shading, but I haven't shaded in a while. A lot of the digital art I do, like, it has blending and rendering, but I don't do it as much traditionally. I really should. More fan art from Elf Can't Lose Weight. This one was a fun one. I forgot her name. Fude is like her name, but I found, no, that's not her. This is the chick that can turn into stone, but I forgot her name. But she was fun to draw, and this was me using colored pencils. I actually have two colored pencils. More brushwork, by the way. I actually have two colored pencils. It's from Prismacolor, and I think it's called Arteza or Artistool. I forgot the name. Let me check. Oh, by Arrtx. So yeah, you know, like the Verdeath series of the Prisma are terrible, but the Arrtx ones got really good. Here we go. More brushwork. This one was fun. As you can see, like, I kind of focus a lot on the head when I don't have like a pre-sketch. I kind of just I try to like do the head as much as I can, and some of these actually turn out pretty nice. They kind of give me some Baki inspo. You can see like the inspiration behind it. This was an old monster I was trying to design. The purpose, not his purpose, but like the idea was kind of like those SCPs that I think it's called SCP-931 that mimics a human voice and then lures people in. Like, that's what this guy would do. And you can see I kind of had some ideas on how the mouth would work and how it could be a little freaky. I really like it. I kind of like the idea, like, the more he transforms, the more disfigured he looks. He kind of looks less human the more he like transforms into the human self. Some night drawings. This was an old drawing of me trying to do a Kaiju number 8 study, but I just couldn't get it. Like, I have a lot of trouble drawing the MC because his monster form has so much in it that I just can't figure out the shapes. I'll probably try doing another study like this, but when I do it traditionally, it just doesn't last as long. Because one, I used this is copy paper, so this was already a bad idea. But I used copy paper for this. I'll probably just go digital next time because that'll make this a whole lot easier. Let's see, some OC. These are some OC sketches. This guy was supposed to be a major part in another one-shot that I will consider doing, which will then turn into a full-fledged series if I feel it's worth it. But this guy, he's way later on in the series, and as you can see, like, he's got like certain things on him. Just resurrected, he's rejuvenated, like, he has a whole thing going on, which I won't go into too much. So these were drawings where I basically tried without reference. So I'm in this server, and one of the subjects that came into the conversation was, could you draw without using reference? And also, is it really necessary? And a lot of us came to the conclusion that no, you don't absolutely need to use your imagination. It's much better if you just use reference, because even though, yes, there are people who do it without reference, you will gain a library in your head mentally the more you do reference, and eventually you will be able to get a good idea of certain parts of the body or certain things without reference at times, and that just comes naturally. It comes with, like, you know, it's like that rule where before you're a great artist, you gotta like draw 10,000 sketches or something. These, and you know, these weren't pretty. These weren't like pretty, but they also weren't horrible. You can get a reading. The one that kind of made me laugh was the fact that I could draw Luffy pretty well. I used to draw Luffy a lot when I first started drawing on my sketchbook. What's it called? Maybe I'll do a tour of my old sketchbooks when I was first drawing, but a lot of them had One Piece reference. This is my frog. This is with colored pencils, and this is a picture of a frog. Actually, not exactly my frog, or it might be him. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But yeah, this was him. His name was Bubba. Rest in peace, Bubba. But yeah, he was a pretty cool frog, and I just grabbed a picture of him one day and tried, you know, coloring him. I think it was pretty fine. This one was for an upcoming piece. I think I posted it or not, but this is from a meme. The why he looks so mad. I mean, these are two, again, OCs. Their whole thing was they're two goofballs. One's a little bit more serious than the other, but I kind of like the idea of having these two perform random like skits or something and just post comics about them. Another drawing without reference. This one I was like messaged by one of my friends. They showed me a video of someone they knew like drawing something with no reference, and I just thought, could I do that? Let me try drawing Ebisu from Dororo, and it kind of looks like her, kind of doesn't, but I did think it was pretty fun, like with the shading at least. The eyes look kind of weird. They kind of look dead-eyed or something like that. Foreshortening. Like I said with the Scott Robertson book, I've been using that book recently, and he doesn't go into foreshortening too much, but I've been kind of like dodging foreshortening these days, and I just recently started practicing it, and it's actually given my art a bit more pop. Oh, that's not foreshortening, but it's been giving my art a bit more pop. It's given it like that more dynamic, lifelike feel, and I've just been enjoying the process. And you know, sometimes while my sketches are going on, I'll take a break, you know, go and draw like an actual thing instead of just, you know, these blank canvases. I'll do something like this. This is the main character from Fist of the North Star. I've never watched or read the manga or anime, but I do plan on reading it eventually. I've been really slow about the art stuff. Oh, I'll be back. Let's see. So let's go to the next one. Some more. This is more with the graphic studio stuff. So I got the 1000, the Ultimate Female pack or something like that, and it was it's okay. I wouldn't call it the ultimate pack, but it's pretty good. I do like the costumes that they give her. It's not safe for work in some areas, so I wouldn't entirely recommend it if you're, you know, a youngin' or if you're around a lot of people. It's not nudity, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And then we also have another war drawing. This one I used a bit of foreshortening, and I really like how it turned out, but the gun definitely needs some work. More foreshortening stuff. I need to put the picture of the artist in this one, but this was a drawing from an artist, and I saw it on Twitter and I really liked it, so I wanted to try doing it myself, and I think it turned out alright. There's some parts that need work. I'd say the hair, some of the hands look a bit too big, the legs are a bit too chunky, but I'll post the artist's name in the description. I'll also put it up right now so you guys can go and check them out. Really good artist. Back to the Scott Robertson stuff. This one was figuring out, you can see I wrote some stuff, dividing the rectangle, duplicating the rectangle in perspective, and this was just to make sure you always got it evenly. It was never away from, it was never odd, so it never looked not in the middle or out of place, which a lot of people do apparently. I wouldn't know because I don't do a lot of perspective stuff. I'm just getting into it more these days. More figure drawings. You can see I tried doing some expressions. These are some random graphic studio poses. Like I said, these are more graphic studio references. Some of these were pretty hard, and I kind of just sometimes remember like, oh yeah, I'm confident with some things, but once the body becomes more squished together and I have to think about foreshortening, I do struggle a lot. So that first one with the chick, that one was pretty hard. And then a lot of these look stiff, and it kind of is funny because like I'll have times where I'll have some, you know, some decent like posture and it looks pretty dynamic and I really like it, and other times I just have this, you know. I feel like a lot of artists go through this. You don't really see them going through like the hundreds of sketches they have. A lot of them these days don't, because a lot of people don't care about it, I feel. Yes, there's a certain like what is it, category where people do like the sketches, but unless they're like really nice sketches, like something like Carl Kapinski does, you don't see people care too much about the sketch. A lot of them just care about the finished product. Dividing into odd numbers, this one was a bit of a doozy. I needed to use my ruler to understand it, but I do get it now. But this was such a pain to learn. Like, the description was really annoying, and if they didn't have like an initial understanding of perspective from the how to or perspective made easy book, I definitely would have been stumped on this. Multiplying, oh yeah, so this one we just created one 2-point perspective thing. We just kept on adding on to it in the book, and you can see I try and mess with 4-point perspective. I start trying to get an idea for it. I tried doing anatomy with it and fail. But these were pretty fun once I started like trying the 4D stuff. I really want to try to get into that a lot more. There was a Tom Fox Draws book I was considering getting for it, but I don't know. I changed my mind recently. This is a challenge I did where I was supposed to draw at least 100 hands, and I failed again. I got like halfway there, I think, but I didn't really make it completely. And let's see, and we're not completely done. This is, I guess, this is a little tease for how my digital art looks, but we're not completely done. We still have a couple more to look at before I end this first part. Oh, hey. So if you remember what I was talking about with the ink stuff, let me bring it back actually so you guys don't have to go back in the video. We can just go ahead and take a look right here. Like, this is what I mean by the inking. I added a bit thicker lines near like the back and the shoulders and some of the hair, the chin, and it made it a bit more dynamic. I don't have the one that has all the lines, but you can see in the areas where there's no extra line weight, you'll see what I mean by it being constantly like the same line weight, which, you know, it's not a bad thing, you know, technically. A lot of people have a style where they don't add line weight, and some people do add line weight, and as long as you can get a dynamic pose or like a good pose out of it, I don't think people will care much. But especially like with animation, like a lot of it's just constant line weight. But there is also something about line weight that is a bit nicer to have, especially when it comes to like stagnant images, or I mean still images, when it's something that's non-moving, when it's non-animated. Let's see, let me make sure we got the other ones. Oh, let's see. Okay, so we're getting to the end of it here. We only have about 3 more left, so we're gonna go ahead and show those. Some of these are not safe for work entirely. Well, not entirely, but I make sure to get rid of the other not safe for work ones, so only a couple of these have not safe for work. So let's begin with something safe first. So this is a skull, you know, like I said, I was doing the skull turnarounds. These are them at different angles. I think I did okay with like the last couple, but it's that first one on the top left where I thought that doesn't look exactly like a skull. Maybe it's more stylized if I were to think about it. And then let's see, we have some not safe for work, I guess. These are some drawings with this one book I have on how to draw breasts. It's a Japanese book, it's all in Japanese, so I have to read it through, translate. It wasn't that bad. Let's see. No, wait, that's more digital. Hold up, this one was just more so this was in 2023. This one I never got to finish it, but hold up. All right, here we go, take 3. So this is another one. This one, it's kind of funny, it kind of reminds me of Luffy. The hairstyle reminds me of Luffy, but it's not, I promise you. This is another gesture drawing. I wasn't entirely sure what to do with it, so I just gave it a face and called it a day, but I did like it, so I thought I'd include it. And then let's see, sorry, there's someone here, so I had to close it. The struggles of being in the living room, you know. But anyway, this one we're gonna move on after, but it's called this one, it probably could have been something nice, but again, like I said in the beginning, I tend to make these and then I move on and I don't give them more personality. We got one from record one. I did this the first time with a recording that I did. You can probably see it on my Instagram. I did a time lapse of this, and I'm honestly, for a time lapse, I'm kind of disappointed because I could have probably done a better one, but I just wanted to get something out there to be like, hey guys, I'm gonna try recording art so you guys can see that. And although I do like the pose, I do think the folds, like out of all of my practice, I feel like this is the one time that my practice didn't come in handy and I just failed on this one. But I do like, overall I do like the face. I got a little peace sign there of me. This is my little character down there, little pigeon guy. And then let's look at the last one, and then we'll call it a day. And that would be this one right here. So this one was kind of like a 50-50. So all of this was drawn traditionally, but with the software, like I said, Rebel 7, I scanned it in and drew over it. I painted over it with a watercolor brush, and they have a really good watercolor brush, but this is half mostly traditional, and then the coloring is digital, and I think it's a good mixture. I don't know how well you can tell, but it's a mixture of watercolor and color pencil, and it's probably one of the best mixing I've done, because I've tried doing it before and it just doesn't turn out that right. But I've done really good paintings on Rebel. Even though I've only done 3, I do think that they're pretty good for the brush. The brushes are really good, and I really want to get that review out there so like you guys can understand like what Rebel is and how it works. I'm not a professional in it by any means, but the amount of practice I've done in it is really like fun, and it's been really fun, and it's been impressing me non-stop. Like that app, I just love it. I almost completely stopped using Clip Studio Paint just to use it, and I would have stopped using Clip Studio Paint if I wasn't trying to make a one-shot or a comic. Like if you want one Illustrator app, Clip Studio is probably the go-to for a lot of people. If you want a realistic painter, I'd go with Rebel. It's phenomenal. So I have some gripes with it, but I'll mention that in the review. But that should be it. There shouldn't be anything left. Hold up. Yeah, I'm recording. I thought I wasn't recording for a second, but that is all of the traditional that I know of. I'm pretty sure I forgot a few somewhere in my Instagram or in my folder, but this is the ones that I found throughout, posting them on Instagram or having them in Discord. And that's and then it was pretty fun. I think for 2024 I got a decent amount of drawing, but I feel like I didn't do as many as I could have. But like I said earlier, I keep saying like I said, but like life happens and stuff happens, so you become busy the more older you get, so sometimes you're not able to draw as much as you can. But I do think I get the most out of my drawings when I do. And also feel free to let me know if any of this stuff you like, or if any of it any critiques you have, or any advice, or if you relate to some of these things I talk about, because it'd be cool to talk about it. I try to read the comments whenever I can. And let me know your favorite, I guess, classic YouTube stuff. And that should be, oh wait, I almost forgot, hold up, we almost left off on the last one. So this one was fully done traditional. This was a car that I found on Google, and I just tried using perspective from the Scott Robertson book, right? And I painted it with watercolor and color pencil. This one is more obvious, the mixture of color pencil. Sorry about the crying in the back, but this is a more obvious showing of the two mediums being mixed. And I think the car turned out pretty fun. I tried applying some gouache to make the shine, to make the highlight shine, but it didn't really work out. Maybe because they're old gouache. That one actually is pretty old, and it turned out pretty dry when I was using it, so who knows. But this was the first half of the sketchbook tour, part 1. Part 2 will be all digital, and I'll be showing you the stuff I can do in Rebel, and probably the stuff on Clip Studio Paint. But yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you all in the next one, in part 2. Goodbye.